Hello, welcome to Book Talk. At Book Talk, we have authors come and talk to us about books, and always we have great guests. Today's guest is a great guest that is going to share with us the unexpected moments, or rather, unexpected moments. And so we don't know what to expect, but she's going to tell us, and she's going to tell us how to deal with the unexpected moments. And I won't talk much because we have a lot to cover. But before we go further, I would like to remind you that bookplacemedia.com is where we are based. That's where our book talk episodes are. If you go there, you can always get past episodes and future episodes. And it will be great if you give us feedback, if you share it with your friends, we will really appreciate. And without taking one more minute, here we go. Welcome to Book Talk. I'm your host, Anthony Morore, and our guest today is Daisy Paige. Welcome to the show, Daisy.
Thank you for having me on today, Anthony. It's my pleasure to be here.
Yes, and we are honored to have you here. How are you?
I'm doing well today, and yourself?
I'm doing good too. And where are you?
I'm in the United States. It's in Texas, in East Texas.
Oh, I love Texas. Always. I'm always hearing of Dallas, Texas, but Dallas is not in the east.
I'm not too far from there.
Okay, that's good. It's good to know that you're from Dallas, Texas, the place that I love. And yeah, tell us a little bit of who is Daisy Page before we go even into the book that we are discussing today.
Well, I grew up here in this small town near Dallas area, and I have three grown children now. I was raised in church. My mom was pianist, and so we went to church every Sunday morning, Sunday night, and Wednesday evenings. And my extracurricular activities consisted of going to church camp and doing anything that has to do with the Bible. I loved going to church and learning about the Bible. That was my favorite thing to do as a child.
Wow, the Bible was your favorite thing to do as a child. Now, you just surprised me right there. You're talking about grandchildren. You don't look it at all.
Oh no, no, not grandchildren. As a child myself,
Oh,
I don't
I
have any
got it.
grandchildren.
I thought I got.
But
I
you're a
thought I
little
had that.
far off, though. I do have my oldest one is 31, and then I have a 28 and a 27-year-old.
That's what I thought. I thought I had it right when you talked about grandchildren.
Grown
No, you
children.
didn't. Ah, okay,
They're just grown children.
okay, but we'll get there. So today we are discussing your book, Unexpected Moments. It's a beautiful book right there, and we want to find out how did you come to write Unexpected Moments.
Well, that came by being diagnosed with a terminal illness. Um, After I was diagnosed, I had a vision from God who told me to. My time was near, but I have to tell my story from the beginning first. And my doctor told me to take each day one day at a time and enjoy it to the fullest because there would come a time that I wouldn't be able to. So I took what he said and I ran with it. And I was going to go to Vermont and see my best friend, but she got COVID. So instead, we were driving by this large church, and on the sign it said that Kirk Cameron was going to be there. I don't know. Do you know who Kirk Cameron is? Yeah,
Mm,
he's a teenage heartthrob here back from the 80s and 90s when he played Mike Seaver in Growing Pains on television.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's an evangelist around the U.S. now, and he has a few movies out, Christian movies, Fireproof and Left Behind 1, 2, and 3. And so I met him instead of going to Vermont and shared my story with him, what God had told me. And he asked me how I planned to share my story. And I said, I didn't know. And he said, well, I think you need to write a book. So I said, well, I haven't wrote anything but a poem my whole life. He said, you don't write the words, just ask God to give them to you and you'll be able to write them. And so the next day I started writing, and he was right. God gave me those words, and they just flew. So 2 to 3 hours a day I devoted to writing my story. And by January, this happened last October, and by January I was finished writing. And he asked me to send him my manuscript, and I did. And so he sent me a forward for the book for an endorsement, and I got it published in March.
Oh, wonderful. And it's good that we have it here because I know it's got some lessons that we are going to draw from, those of us who are going to read it. And it's a good thing that you obeyed that call. And if I may ask, I don't know if it's something that you discuss. If you don't discuss it, you don't have to. What's the terminal illness?
It's called MSA. It's called multi-system atrophy, and what it is the autonomic symptoms, such as your digestive, uh, respiratory system and circulatory system, all those sort of functions in your body that you don't have to think about, they start shutting down, and ultimately it leads to death. Starts off like Parkinson because the first thing you start losing is your mobility and your coordination, which that's what happened to me. And I got diagnosed with Parkinson's. But, after a year and a half of being diagnosed with Parkinson, the medication wasn't working. So I went to a motion, movement disorder specialist, and they're the ones that took 5 minutes. I mean, when they see me for the first 5 minutes, they said, "No, it's not Parkinson. It is MSA." And I said, "Well, can you fix me?" And they said, "No, unfortunately, there's no cure." So, in my book, I donate 10% of all my proceeds to the charity because they need more research. Only 4 out of every 100,000 people in the U.S. are diagnosed with it, so that's how rare it is.
Mm,
And I'm also having another podcast host on Stories That Inspire Us is having a live Daisy Thon to create awareness for MSA on November 19th. So I'm looking forward to that.
mm,
They don't know what it comes from though, and when I go, I plan to donate my brain to science so they can use it for research to try to help them find where it's coming from.
mm. Sorry for that, and we pray that you get well, because God is a miraculous God. I mean, I know you still believe, and anything is possible. So we continue to believe with you as you go through what you go through. He can be the restorer of everything that has gone wrong.
And I'm writing a second book. I'm almost done with it. It's called Beyond Heaven's Gates. And I have had visions and dreams of heaven, so it's about those. And then it's also going to pick up about midway. Unexpected moments continues.
Hmm.
So
Okay. Mhm. And now, What's and it's this that we are talking about. We didn't expect these moments, and now we are dealing with the unexpected moments. Please tell us what's in the book.
It starts off
Unexpected moments.
as my childhood, talks about me being a Christian, and I won second place in the state Bible drill in Texas because I knew that Bible by the time I was about 9 years old, 9.5 years old. I had read the Bible from the front to the end. That's how much I enjoyed reading about the Bible, reading the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved going to Sunday school, vacation Bible school, all that had to do with church. Um, but I found out when I was a young child that my mom was not my real mom and that my real mom had died in a car accident when I was a baby.
Hmm.
So, that was a very, kind of a wow moment in my life. When I found out it was this because of this big picture of this woman, and I asked my grandmother who was that woman in the picture. And she ran off in another room, and I thought, well, that's weird. She didn't answer my question. What's up with that? And then my parents pulled up, and my mom stayed on the outside on the car hood. My father came in, and he said, "Your mom's gone to heaven to be with the angels." And I said, "No, she's not. She's sitting out there on the car." And I took off running and grabbed her by her legs, and I said, "Mama, you need to go inside and tell them that you're not dead, because they're telling me that you're dead." So she took me inside, and um, they said that that woman in the picture, that's the woman that gave birth to you. This is your stepmom, and she's raised you from a baby, but your mom's gone to heaven to be with the angels. And so next, I started being sexually molested by my brother for about 5 years, and he blamed me for my mom's death. He said that if I would have never been born, she would still be alive and he would have his mom. And, that kind of got branded into my head. And I didn't think I was supposed to tell anybody what was going on. I was ashamed. And then after he left home, I thought, okay, God, thank you. It's over with now. He joined the military, and I thought, wow, uh, done with that. Then a couple months later, I was raped. And I thought,
Hmm.
wow, does pain never go away? I guess this is just life, because once after that, I was laced by a gentleman that wanted me to go out with him. And he laced 9 other girls. We all turned him down. And we were laced with drugs, PCP and LSD at really high doses. My dad was a cop, a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
So he got on the case when they figured out, what was going on. They went to bust the man and the gentleman, and he actually was shot and killed because he pulled a gun on a police officer. So when my dad came home and told me that, I blamed myself once again. You know, at this
Mm-hmm.
point, I tried to commit suicide because I thought, what? I shouldn't even be alive. With all this going on, this isn't right. And sorry, I get a lot of breath. I went into counseling, and my counselor told me to share with my dad and my brother. He was in town. She brought him into session because I had obviously shared that he had molested me.
Hmm.
And my counselor told me to tell my dad what was going on, and I told him about the rape first. And my brother, he stood up and he said, "Who is it? I want to go kick his butt." I said, "Well, you did worse and for much, much longer." And he said, "No, I didn't. You got me mixed up with the rape. It's all in your head. You're delusional."
Mm-hmm.
And my dad didn't believe me. He believed my brother. So I had unsupport at home, no support at home. I thought my stepmom knew, but I didn't know until 2 years ago that she didn't even know. They
Hmm.
never told her, so I just thought she wasn't supporting me either. And I wanted out of the house so bad because there was a huge gap in the relationship with me and my dad. So
Hmm.
that's how my story starts.
Oh, and that's just the start. And
That's just the start.
it's just the start. And actually, already Dr. Manny Hill Poderaro says Unexpected Moments looks like a great book. I'll check it out. Kirk Camelon is amazing in spreading God's word. Amazing endorsement. Thank you, Dr. Manny. We appreciate
Yeah,
that
thank
feedback.
you.
Yeah.
I was very honored to have his endorsement. That was huge to me. It meant a lot. I told him I wrote him a letter and when I was a teenager and asked him for his autograph picture and he didn't send me his autograph picture, so I took all his posters I had on my walls of him down. I was heartbroken, and he told me he'd make it up to me, and boy, did he ever.
She didn't. Oh, no, it's good to hear that. And we really appreciate you for taking this courage to come out and disclose whatever has gone on in your life. Those experiences are some of the experiences that people live with all their lives. They keep hidden. But then, even at a point where many people would give up, you still gather that courage and tell your story. Now, let me ask you a question. Did you ever ask God a question or questions?
Many times.
Mm-hmm.
I asked, why me? Why are you putting me through this? I've been devoted to you. I've always wanted to learn about the Bible. I've done nothing but study the Bible and learn the Bible my whole life. So why am I be punished? Am I cursed? Um, is there something that someone else in my family did down the bloodline that I'm paying for now? Um, why? Why does this keep happening? Is this how life is? Is this normal? Because not after that, there's many times that I was abused physically by my first husband, and then by an ex fiance who nearly killed me. Actually, fractured my skull. So there's been many times that I almost didn't make it, or I didn't want to make it, because and my children would be in the same room when my ex-husband would beat on me, and it would be it would be a bloody slaughter. There'd be blood all over the place, and that was nothing
Mm.
for your children to see. And I thank God every day that I'm so proud of all of my children. They have turned out to be some wonderful, wonderful, responsible, very mature children. They 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 have two of them have purchased homes. One of them's had the same job for 15 years, so they've turned out to be great children, and I'm glad of that. Thank you, Doctor. M- Is it Marnie? Doctor Marnie? Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
Dr. Manny says, sorry for your trauma. And she's also thanking you for coming up with a second book. Really, we thank you for for everything that you're doing to humanity. It's a great thing that you're doing to humanity. Now, you ask God questions, and what was the answer? Is it the visions that you got? Is it the some verses that encouraged you to keep on moving and have comfort still in the same God that you're asking questions?
Well, there was many times, I did have this one really great boyfriend, but then I felt that, I didn't deserve him because he was so good to me. So when I was being abused by my first husband, I would pray to God, just bring him back to me. I don't know why I let him go. He was so good to me, Lord. I should have took that as a sign that this is how I can change my life. And he brought him back, and he helped me get out of the situation that I was in with my ex-husband, and after I got settled into a three-bedroom apartment with just me and my children, he left again, and I said, "God, why did you take him away?" And he kinda talked to me in my heart, where he always talks, he don't talk to you in your ears or your head, he talks to you in your heart. And he said, "Daisy, he served his purpose. He got you out of a bad situation, and without him, you would have never left that situation. So he did what he needed to do. He
Hmm.
did what I asked him to do." So there's
Mhm.
many times that God answered my prayers that way. So I just kept, well, I gotta stay on this road of faith. God knows where to lead me, obviously.
Hmm.
And he answered me with earth angels many times because, we do have angels here on earth.
Sure.
And I was blessed with a bunch of them. And a lot of them I've dedicated my book to. And that friend that had COVID, she passed away 3 days after my book was published.
Oh.
So my next book will be dedicated to her. Unfortunately, I hated to lose her. She was a big part and meant a lot to me. And I'll tell you, my children have been through so much. That's the only thing. I'm looking forward to go to heaven. God showed me
Hmm.
images and glimpses of what it is all about. But I'm worried about my children because they have suffered a lot. The past 4 years, they've lost their grandpa, their uncle, their dad, and this is just their dad's family. After their dad, they lost their grandma. After that, his sister killed herself. Then his other sister was diagnosed with breast cancer, and then they got my diagnosis. So they've had it pretty rough this past few years. And I have had thankfully, a great, wonderful husband for the past. We've been together for 15 years, but I've known him since I was 5 years old. He's been a really good friend of mine, and he knows what I've been through. My daughter said yesterday, "Thank you to him for taking care of her mom. And if I pass away, if I ever need anything, please let her know because he's done more for her than she could ever have asked him." He quit his job last year, and I rely on him 100% to take care of me. I'm so solely dependent on him.
Hmm. We started on a very high note when we were starting the episode. I won't say that it has gone down. I would say maybe it has gone higher just because of the confidence that Daisy has, because of what she's been through, and she's still moving on. She still have got that faith and a confidence that I have not seen in any other person of what happens once I'm done with this level of life and I go to a new level of life. I mean, to have that confidence while you're living in this body that you are going to have another life that you are already expecting and you're prepared for, that's a great message to someone who's listening to us today. Thank you,
I've
Daisy.
seen so many family members on that other side of those gates,
Hmm.
and they've already welcomed me with open arms and tell me that I'll be home for good soon. And that's what I look forward to seeing all those family that have left before me and all my friends. My friend that passed away after Unexpected Moments was written and published. But if you don't mind, can I read Kirk Cameron's forward? I just think it tells a lot about my story.
Go ahead, please.
I'm sure Dr. Marnie would like to hear it too.
Yeah, I believe so. Dr. Mani, if you're still there, we appreciate your feedback. We love you that you're here and uh, giving feedback. And everyone who's listening, we know that we have many people who are listening and watching. We thank you for your time. Please remember to share these episodes with your friends. You've got a great message coming from Daisy Page. Go ahead, Daisy.
It was an autumn night in Texas when I first met Daisy. She came up in a wheelchair next to me at the campfire. Her smile was bright. She shared her journey with me and told me that she did not have much time left on earth. I told her to write down her story and I would do anything I can to help share it with the world. I only spoke with her briefly that night, but her attitude and her resilient spirit inspired me. I hope this book of an individual's incredible journey through emotional, physical, and spiritual pain and coming through the other side of tragedy, still praising the Lord, will encourage you in your present situation. Daisy's message will bring you comfort and remind you that you are not alone in your struggles or life circumstances. I pray her words bring you hope. There is one who knows the plans he has for you, plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. Kirk Cameron.
Wow, that's beautiful. God bless him.
I know, right? I want to cry every time I read that. And I think, I inspired him. Kirk Cameron goes around the world inspiring people every day, and I inspired him.
You are really an inspiration. I can tell you, Daisy. I believe many people who are also going to watch this episode are going to come out of here encouraged, inspired, and full of energy to keep on living life and making a difference to those people that surround them. Thank you, Daisy.
You're welcome. I only have two goals, and the first one is to inspire others and motivate them to know that Christ and God are always with you, and they'll never leave you alone and won't put you through more than you can handle if you have faith. And I believe I went through what I went through to make me strong enough to handle this disease. My second goal is I want to create mo- more awareness for this disease since it is so rare, so that they can find a cure someday and others won't have to suffer.
Hmm. And we pray that your call is fulfilled since you've answered to it. We pray that it's fulfilled and it goes to the edges of the earth, some places that you never imagined that it can reach. And that is why we are doing what we are doing right now. And before we go, is there something in the book that you would not let us leave without knowing or having a clue? Okay, definitely we are going to get the book and you tell us where to get the book. But is there something inside the book that you'd like us to not to miss in this episode?
I want to share that don't take life for granted. You never know what's going to happen in a minute, an hour, a week, a month, or a year. I took life for granted, I feel. I never thought about thanking God for the little things, being able to wash your own hair, brush your teeth, or even walk for that matter. I used to be able to walk 11 flights of stairs a day, 3 times a day. I did yoga every day. I walked and ran on the beach. Now I can't do any of those things. And I wish I would have, thanked God back then when I could do those things. So it's just simple little things. They say stop and smell the roses. Do that. And do that. Think of your life as the rose and stop and thank God every day for those little things that you can do.
Hmm. You know what, Daisy? Today, this very moment, we are only thanking God that we are listening to you. You are a blessing to this generation, and we appreciate you.
Oh, thank you, Anthony.
Yeah. So if people want to connect with you or go and get the book, where would you ask them to go to?
You can find me on Facebook, at Daisy Paige Unexpected Moments, or Daisy Paige Author is the name once you search for that. Daisy Paige Author, and my link for my book is there. Because if you do buy it from Amazon or anywhere like that, I don't get as many proceeds. And I want to get as many proceeds as possible so that the charity gets more.
Okay, that's good. And your website is
unexpected-moments.com.
okay. To all who are listening or those who are watching, the website is www.unexpected-moments.com. Go and connect with Daisy, go and get the book, and help towards the charity. Now, we have many other people with us here, and we appreciate all the other people who are watching and those who get to watch after we're through, those who get to listen to from the podcast platforms. We appreciate you. We also, before we go, maybe we'll read one comment here. Thanks a lot. You're such a strong woman and full of resilience. In spite of all, you're still strong. Such an inspiration. God bless you. That's coming from Peter Ladu Savio. Thank you,
Thank you,
Peter.
Peter.
Yeah, yeah. So says Daisy. Thank you. Wow, this has been the unexpected moments with Daisy Paige, and that's also the title of the book that we are asking you to go and get, not only to support Daisy, but also to support the charity that she is supporting. That's Unexpected Moments by Daisy Paige. And that's about it for today at
And my
Book.
daughter painted the book cover. I just
Oh,
wanted
and it's good to know that her daughter painted the book cover. What a good artist she is. We appreciate her and we thank her on your behalf. Wow. So that's about it. And it's been such a wonderful time here with Daisy, an inspiring episode. I mean, I think it's one of the most inspiring episodes that we have had at Book Talk. Thanks to Daisy. And yeah, I think the rest people can go and get from the book. So go and buy the book, go and connect with Daisy, and remember to appreciate every single moment that you have in your life. And that's it. This has been your host, Anthony Morore, and together with Daisy Page, we are saying bye for now.
for that. Thank you.
Thank you.